Okay, we're continuing our conversations with real women about hair drama. Our next guest is a businesswoman and a mother. Our guest is Miss Shameen Clark Holmes. She is the Executive Director, and I better read your whole title, Executive State Director of California CEO Space. Welcome to the show, Shameen.
Thank you.
And her beautiful daughter, Sterling and Sheridan. Now, I had you on the show because I know you had a hair story, but you're also a mother, and I wanted to talk about the whole dynamic of being a black woman and raising black children and having to do hair. So let's start with you and your childhood. Growing up, now, first of all, when we see you, our perception is that you have the kind of hair that we thought we wanted to have, the kind of hair you didn't have to do anything. What happened in your household?
At the age of 13, I got a perm. And at that time,
Relaxer?
A relaxer.
Okay.
And they weren't no-lie relaxers at the time. It was, I was told at the beauty shop that wavier hair, curlier hair was harder to straighten than coarse hair. So we got a super perm.
Oh my
A
gosh.
super, can I name the name?
Well, we can say it's one of those other brands.
Yes.
Okay.
So we got a super perm, and shortly after that, my hair started to fall out. So my hair was basically down my back, almost to my butt, very thick, nice hair, and I wanted it straight. And so I ended up having, by the time that happened in the 8th grade, by the 9th grade year, I had long hair here and no hair in the back.
Oh my gosh. So you know what that's called, a chemical haircut.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what I had.
So now, how did you feel? I mean, did it affect your self-esteem? Oh, you were the girl with the hair,
Yeah.
and now part of it was gone. How did you
Right.
feel?
Terrible. I held on to that hairdo, my chemical cut, for a year. And when I went into the 10th grade, my mother said, there's no way you could start a new school with your hair like that. You have to let it go.
Okay.
So I went to, like, no hair, had to cut it all off. It was all damaged. And start all over. And it basically came back a different grain,
Okay.
finer and thinner.
Oh.
So it's never been the same from the original.
Okay. Now we have your daughters here, and so I want to talk to them, and we're going to start with you, Sheridan. So tell me a little bit about your hair. How did your mother do your hair when you were growing up? You're still growing up, but how did she do your hair?
Like ponytails.
Did she straighten your hair?
Yeah.
Okay. With a hot comb, or did she put relaxer on your hair?
A relaxer.
Okay. So you had a relaxer and you had an incident, but then you put it on your daughter's hair. Okay. What about you, Sterling? What did your mom do to your hair?
I had a kitty perm.
Kitty perm. Alrighty. Now, did you think a kitty perm was going to be
Different.
different, safer, gentler for
Yeah.
kids?
I had actually pressed both, I didn't do that probably until like age 5 or 6,
Okay.
where they had their first experience getting their hair done before.
Now tell me, before you put the kitty perm on, what made you decide to even put a kitty perm on their hair? What was it? What was going on with their hair? Was it time? Was it hard to comb? What was going on?
Hard to comb, not looking the way you wanted to look,
Okay.
and knowing that if they got it done, I was thinking it would take just maybe like the frizz off of it,
Okay.
because it was a mild kitty perm.
Okay. And then what happened when she put the kitty perm in your hair?
Hair started falling out.
Oh. And what happened to your hair, Sterling?
Well, I have eczema, and eczema and perms don't really match, and my hair started falling out too.
Oh, did it hurt?
Yeah, it was stinging.
It
a
was
lot.
burning you? Okay. So did you tell your mother you don't want that anymore? To have perms anymore in your hair? You did? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but what was the next hairstyle that you went to? After you had that experience, then what'd you do with your hair?
I got my hair pressed.
Got your hair pressed. So still going back to straight.
Yeah, so we've been doing straight twisties, interlocks, which are good for your hair too. And easy
Okay.
to
Tell
do.
me what an interlock is. What is that?
You braid your hair in cornrows, and then they sew these little pieces of curly hair
Oh.
on to your. It's not sewing; it's like attaching.
Okay. So it's like a type of a weave because they're attaching some
It's
hair
like
on.
a crochet weave.
Oh, crochet.
Yeah.
But your own hair is allowed to rest
Yeah.
during that time. So now, Shameen, when you have a special occasion, is that when you take them to a hair salon?
Yes.
Okay, so there's some reason why in our culture, when it comes time for something special, we go back to straight hair.
Right.
Is that correct?
That's true.
Is that your experience?
Yes.
Is that and where do you think that comes from?
I don't know, but it's in me, like, even like for today.
For today.
Certain things you just feel like they could be in perfect, maybe in individuals, and I'll say, that's not appropriate for a wedding that's coming up.
Okay. Okay, but let's talk about image, coming back to hair.
Okay.
Okay, so being a CEO and trying to get capital, do you go in with braids? Do you go in with locks? Do you go in with twisties? What do you do? I mean, is that part of the entrepreneur look?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, but I know some people that are very successful. I wouldn't probably be as comfortable. I call myself like a chameleon when it comes to my hair. I may, one day may have a weave. I've been wearing my natural look now, just naturally curly, but I've gone through a lot of different extremes. You never know what you're going to see me with. A wig, a weave, it doesn't, whatever. It's like an accessory that is the first thing you think of.
Like, for example, now I happen to have been there, and I saw you last night at the hair salon, but how many hours were you all there at the hair salon?
We were there about 5 hours.
For 5 hours. Okay, now, Sterling, when you're sitting in a hair salon, now how are you feeling about having to go through 5 hours of getting your hair done?
Bored. Bored.
Bored. You're bored. Would you prefer to be doing something else than being sitting in a hair salon?
Maybe.
Maybe. But you wanted your hair done, right? Yeah, so you know that's kind of the cost that goes along with it. How long have you been taking them to the salon?
I would say their first experience was probably around age 6, 7, but not on, usually for special occasions.
Okay. Now, in terms of, as a mother, what would you want to tell your daughters about themselves and their hair as far as their relationship? How does that affect their self-esteem? How does that affect them to have to sit in a salon for hours and go through something to change their hair texture? What do you tell them about that? Is this part of life?
Yeah, I think they're pretty much accustomed to knowing that they're going to be there a few hours and that the end result will make it worth the wait, that they've gone through. They have been at shops to probably 12:30 at night on different occasions where in our community we tend to be a little slower. A lot of different steps may be going on, and even though you may get there early, you're going to leave
still
extra
there,
late.
but
And so they've had many nights crying, like, going through it, especially if they're getting braids, a process that takes so long. So they have, I think, have a pretty good patient level for hair at this point.
I would say so. Now, how much does it cost? Is it less to get their hair done, or do you get charged the same amount as an adult would pay?
I've been finding a lot of beauticians that are really giving a break for children now. Yeah.
Is it because of the recession now, or?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, my sister has someone that does her daughter's individuals, and she doesn't give her any slack that she's like, 14 years old, 13. She's charging her like $200, where I can find, I will find
$200 to do what?
Individuals.
Oh my goodness.
Where I can find someone under 100.
That's expensive.
Yeah, it's still expensive, but it's worth it because it lasts a long time.
Okay, but this is quite an investment that you have, because if it costs $100 to get hair done and you're going to the hair salon, and by the
Then you
time
have
they
to-
get to college, you've spent a lot of money on hair.
Because we didn't even talk about the products that you have to buy to maintain it. So usually you have to buy hair first. You have to find out which is the best type of hair.
Okay.
You have to buy afterwards. It looks so beautiful. You're like, how do I maintain this when I get them home?
But help. Does your husband know how to do their hair? Can he? Does
No.
your father help?
He cannot do hair
Oh.
at all.
Okay.
He will let you go out with an afro.
Oh, he
an
will.
afro.
Oh, okay. So we can't get help from Dad.
No, not unless he taught him. He may learn.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. You all have been great guests today. Thank you for joining me on my show, talking with me. Shameen, thank you for
You're very welcome.
coming and
You're very
bringing them
welcome.
on. Thank you very much. This has been our show today. And tune in next time on The Angela Show. Thank you for joining us.